and we are live, and Phil look like she's driving or something. I hope you're not driving, are you?
I am.
I
I
heard,
just
I heard.
I
Okay,
just
let me
ate
go.
dinner. I had a date. I cut it short so that I could be with y'all.
Okay, okay. Oh, what? You cut your day short for Wizzo Talk, man. I
I
appreciate
sure
that,
did. I just
man.
met that dude like less than 2 weeks ago. This is way more important.
All right, cool. Well,
See,
we
I was
live.
gonna say that mean one or two things, okay?
All right, so
See, you already know. We're not playing that game.
already. So I'm gonna do my intro because we are already live, and then we'll walk around the board and we'll go ahead on and let everybody do the intro. So I'd like to say hello to everyone. I am Paul Wizzo and welcome to Wizzo Talk. If you'd like to subscribe to Wizzo Talk, the link is in the description or is strolling right across the bottom of the screen. Just make sure you hit that notification bell because I'll post according to my guest availability rather than a fixed schedule. And you like to be a guest on Wizzo Talk? Hey, look, hit me up. Send me a smoke signal, carrier pigeon, message on Messenger on Paul Wizzo, throw the bat signal in the air, whatever you got to do. And don't worry about a topic because I have plenty of topics for you. Don't worry about that. And just remember, it is absolutely free, 100% free to like, share, and subscribe. So I appreciate your support. So now what we're going to do, we're going to go around the room. We're going to meet our guests, and then we're going to get this popping. Miss Brandy, come on with that intro.
Hello, everybody. My name is Brandy Cummings. I have been on the show a couple of times. I really appreciate Paul always reaching out to me to be a guest. I am a local community member in this wonderful education realm that we have here, and I'm just ready for what tonight brings.
All right, all right, all right. Thank you there. Miss Phil, what you got for us?
Hello, all. My name is Phil Nat Harrison. I am a 19-year veteran in the public Texas education school system, and I am super happy to be here. This will be my fourth appearance on Wizzo Talks, and excited to meet other educators and talk about my experience.
Oh, sounds great. All right, who appreciate it? Miss Gina, what you got for us?
Hello, hello. I am Lugenia Solomon. I am in my ninth year in education. I am originally from New Orleans, Louisiana, where I have a background in juvenile corrections. But since 2017, I have been here in Texas, DFW to be exact, working with what is considered to be at-risk youth in different
All right.
capacities.
Well,
So,
let me ask you this before I go on off into my deal. I don't know if I asked you this before. So, really, you're from Louisiana. Now you up in the DFW area. So that means you switched to being a cowboy. Or you was
um, not quite. Glad you said that. I will say this. I will root for them this season, honestly, because I mean the Saints. We're about winning what right now, so I'm going to root for the
okay.
Cowboys this
Good, good,
season.
good. Okay, ladies. So I really appreciate y'all. All being in the education field. That's why I chose this topic and reached out to you ladies to talk about these few things. Uh, to the viewers that's watching right now, if you have any questions, please post them in the chat. I'll share them on the screen with the ladies, and so we get right on off to like right off into my to the podcast. So school shouldn't be a war zone, keeping our kids safe. So I did some research on school shooting, and it just so many different way they kind of log that in information. So this is what I got right here, and then I think Phil's still there, and then I'm gonna go off into my first question. So this is like from the Homeland Defense and Security is talking about K through 12, and it is saying that where they describing it is where if the gun was fired or grazed someone or any type of school shooting on the property. So these are the numbers right here. In 2016, it had showing 116 shootings. In 2021, 257. In 2022, 308 shootings. 2023, 350 shootings. In 2024, 332 shootings for a total of 1,363 shootings. So, what I like to start this podcast off, since we're talking about school shootings, I'm gonna ask you later this, and then see what y'all thoughts are on this here. So when you hear about a school shooting, on the news, I want to know what's the first thought or feeling that runs through your mind as a teacher, since you guys are all educators. School shootings on the news. What are your thoughts? And we'll come with you, Jeannie, to let you start it out.
Okay, typically, I guess my first thought would be this could have been me. This could have been one of my students. This could have been, my school setting or what have you. And just grateful that it wasn't. But I have been in scenarios where we had the capability and possibility, unfortunately, of having a potential shootout or like a drive-by or something. Because again, I work with was considered at-risk youth, so therefore, I work with students who are in gangs, and we had to be on high alert of what potentially can happen, on our premises. So my biggest thought would initially be this could have been me and my students in this situation.
Okay,
So.
all right. It's Phil.
Every time I hear about a school shooting, my immediate thought is that add it to the list, there'll be more. The reason why is because the Congress that is in power right now will absolutely not do anything about people's access to guns. I am all for the right to bear arms. I personally do not have weapons, but just about everybody I know does. I respect your right to bear arms, but just like you have to have a driver's license to legally operate a vehicle, just like you have to have a special driver's license to operate a specialized vehicle, like a semi-trailer truck. An ordinary person cannot get behind the wheel of an 18-wheeler without having a CDL. You have to have specialized training. Just like you can't get into an army tank, you have to have specialized training and the license to do so. I feel like you should have a license for a gun, and AR-15s are not made to shoot deer. They're made to shoot people. So if you're going to have it, you need to have a specialized license and everything that goes with that. But the people that are in charge now don't think that you should have a specialized license for an AR-15. Even though it's specifically made to shoot as many people in a short amount of time as possible. Our founding fathers had no conception of such a machine. If they did, I seriously believe they would have made provisions for that in the Constitution. But at the time, you could only shoot one bullet at a time and then reload your entire weapon. So the other side of that coin is mental health. You have got to support people with a disturbed mental health. Those people should not be allowed, if you are certified in a particular mental state, you should not be able to have an AR-15. Because just like a sexual predator can't be near a school, if you have been certified that you have a certain mental health, you should not be allowed to have such a weapon. The people in charge pick and choose what laws and what common sense they're going to use. What they're
We're
going
getting some
to
feedback.
allow.
Somebody, I'm not sure. I hear you, Phil. Go ahead.
So that's my spiel. I'll
Okay. Thank you for yielding the floor. Miss Brandy, so what do you think about the question? And then if you want to entertain anything Phil just said, feel free.
So when I hear about a school shooting, my first thought, the majority of the time, is, you know, how or what or where did we drop the ball?
Okay.
Okay, because sometimes, a lot of times, it's a disturbed student. You know what I'm saying? That we didn't reach out to in time because they feel that they had no other outlet, no other avenue, and this was their answer to their problem. You know, um, so that's my thought.
Okay. So you think that oh, go ahead. Okay. Are you still talking?
Yes.
Oh, go ahead.
Um, I have also experienced where, you know, uh, when we drop the ball on a student, then the worst outcome can happen. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that is mine. Like, the mental health is what plays the most part for me when it comes to school shootings.
Okay. All right. Jenna, you have anything on anything one of the ladies said? Phil was talking about the Constitution and everything, and uh, somebody might need to uh, mute their mic until we. Let's see, Brandy, are you muted? Phil, are you muted? I don't know where the world this feedback is coming from. Yeah, somebody we picking up too much static somewhere, y'all. Okay, now it seemed to stop. Okay, it is not. So it's not. Let me try something right quick. I'll move you backstage for just a second, Phil. Let me try to list something. Okay, Gina, are you muted or unmuted? I can't. We can't hear you. All right, little Gina. Gina, say something. Oh, we still can't hear you. Technical difficulties up in here. So, while you trying to come on, let me come back to Phil. Phil, can you still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Trying to see Regina because I can't hear her. So I'll let
Can
you.
she go out and come back in?
Yeah, you want to? Yeah, if you can hear me, can you go? Yeah, I'll find that. Good idea. So she can go ahead and come back in. All righty. Um, so do you have anything else you wanted to add? Because I know Brandy was cooking and doing some things. To what you were
Well,
saying.
my thing is that the rules should be fair across the board. They should be even. They should be equal, and it's not that way. The people in charge choose and pick what is allowed and what is not allowed,
Right.
and um, their mentality is, well, the Second Amendment is should always be protected, and there should not be any exceptions. Well, the problem with that is that people are dying in
Yeah.
droves. Our population in the schools should not be going down because of gun violence.
Right.
And when it's an epidemic, the reason why people choose schools is because they know that the people will be there.
Yeah.
They choose churches, they choose grocery stores because you can get a large amount of people in a short amount of time.
Right. You know.
It's it's like shooting fish in a barrel.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna come to you, Jen, in just a second. Let me say, I like what you were saying about how when the Constitution was written. Back then it was only one bullet, shoot one time, and that was it. And now some of these guns are holding 30 and 40, 100 rounds and multiple rounds and stuff like that. And I have a question further down that I'll get to, but I'm gonna wait and see what Gina has to say before I don't want to get out of my little questions here. So go ahead, Jen. What are you gonna say?
Okay, can y'all hear me now?
Oh, we got you good.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so basically, I was just gonna say that in regards to what Phil is stating about the laws and all that good stuff that are in place. Unfortunately, like she said, they're going to probably continue to pass laws that's going to okay the possession of firearms. And what's happening is in this younger generation, I mean, violence, as we already know, has been promoted all just in every avenue, particularly the music that they're listening to, that kind of stuff. So it's already giving them this oomph to want to get out there and get their hands on so and so. And it's just amazing some of the stuff that I've learned over the years as far as the access that my students have had to guns and just weapons or drugs, what you name it, all of the bad stuff that we were protected from back in the day, right?
Right.
But this new generation, they have far too much access to things, and if there's nothing that's preventing them from getting their hands on it, it is only going to get worse. And it's very unfortunate, but that's just the reality of it. So
exactly. So let me ask you this right here. This is a question of mine, but it's further down in my list here. So the kid got a hold to the gun. They went shot and killed up a lot of students, injured teachers, whoever, whatever, stuff like that. And this kid is a minor. Should the parents be charged? Now, in one case, I believe the parents have been charged. I didn't do the research on it and went to jail, received some time. But there's been so many that, and the kid haven't shot themselves. They still live, to talk about it. So my question to y'all is: should the parent be charged with a crime if the child is a minor for getting a hold to that parent gun? And Phil, we'll start with you.
In the case that you're referring to, the parents knew about the weapon. The FBI knew about the weapon. The FBI was actually aware of that family and their because they had been involved with the local police. Mm-hmm. And so the local police informed the FBI, so they were already on a watch list.
Right.
And so that's the reason why the parents were charged in that case, because the boy was given an AR-15 for his birthday.
Yep, he sure was.
What 15-year-old needs an AR-15?
Yeah.
So in that case, the parents were complicit because they gave him the weapon that he used.
Yeah, I remember that.
When the FBI questioned him, they were like, does he have access to the gun? Yes, but we keep it locked up. That's what they told the police. That's what they told the FBI.
Mm-hmm.
But when he wrote that manifesto and he carried out what he put in that manifesto, the parents were complicit because they provided the weapon.
Yeah.
And they had already been warned. They had already been warned by local authorities. Watch your son. Keep the weapon out of his hand. He should only have it when he's with you. They didn't do that.
Gotcha. So that's why they was charged. See, I didn't realize all that right there. Gina, what do you think about that? Should the parents be charged?
Okay, I apologize. Can you all still hear me?
Yeah, we got you. We don't see you, but we hear you.
Yes, I have technical difficulties right now. My Wi-Fi signal for some reason went out, but I can't seem to get the camera back on. I'll keep trying with that. But anywho, I didn't really hear everything that was said because I had to log off and log back in. But I'm not too familiar with the instance that you guys are referring to specifically. But in any instance where the parents were fully aware, whomever, if anybody had knowledge that a child had access to a gun or any other weapon for that matter, but in this particular case, of course, a gun, definitely something should have been done more on a proactive side versus having to deal with the reactive side of things, what have you. And I think a lot of times, and in many of these instances, I'm pretty sure the adults involved are aware that, there's something going on, because chances are there's bullying or something going on at that school with that particular kid that's going to trigger them to want to do something such as that in the first place, right? So anything that's leading up to, like you said, there's always a backstory. So there's no way in the world you can tell me that anybody's going to wake up on any given day and say, "Hey, let me go grab this gun out of my dad's closet and bring it up to the schoolhouse and just start randomly shooting people." It's a buildup. It's never a sporadic thing. So just being proactive, proactivity is the key. And I think a lot of times people tend to brush stuff off and think, okay, well, that kid is just talking or whatever, just to be talking or whatever the case is. I've actually had parents in the past, not where I'm at now teaching, but in a past school that I was at, a kid made a verbal threat about some things, and the parent was adamant that, you know, their child should not be kicked out of the school because why are we taking it so seriously? Just imagine that coming. Yeah, it's just like, wait, what day and age are we in? Like, we have to be realistic about this stuff. So yeah.
Most definitely. All right. So Miss Brandy, you think the parents should be charged if the kid is a minor? We still can't hear you. We having all kind of technical difficulties, y'all. Hey, I'm gonna tell you, I thought I was gonna have something when the weather was bad, but what get it to work it, Brandy. We gonna come back to you then. Maybe your wireless buds they went dead or something. So we can't hear you. While she's doing that, y'all, and she'll come back here. So let me ask you about red flags. You know, as you know, y'all are teachers in the education field. You know, do you see, you know, what are some signs? Let me just kind of read what I got. What signs or red flags should teachers and parents look at for a child you know, that could indicate a student struggling or at risk? You know, I mean, y'all out there with the kids, the parents know. Is there any type of red flag that you'll see that's going on that can kind of alert anybody? That
Definitely. So I know from my own experience, you know, I tend to pick up on bullying situations really quickly, like just keeping all eyes and ears open at all times. And so, you know, I work in more of an atmosphere where we have multiple adults in the school setting, because I work in a specialized school setting. I'm not in just the regular traditional style school or what have you. I work at a facility currently where it's an outpatient mental behavioral situation or whatever. So these kids are already struggling with things on a daily basis. But you know, just listening in on the conversations that's being had. I don't fear from asking questions. I don't shy away from asking questions. If I hear something that's questionable, I am going to be like, hey, hold up now. Like,
right.
what's going on here? Because you never know what this kid is going home and conjure up or what have you. But just keying in, locking in on what the conversations are being had, just observing the interactions between students. And a lot of the times, I mean, the kids will tell on themselves. And you know, it's like if you have that information, then pass that information on to the next person in charge and figuring out a way to kind of, again, being proactive or what have you. But just mostly the interactions between the students, because these kids are, I mean, they this is a different day and age we're in, and they don't care about what they say. They have no filters. It's just a free for all most times, unfortunately. So
I got you. Okay, Brandon, let me see. Are you there with us? Nope. Okay, she can't. All right. Let me come up to Phil while she's still trying to think about that. Phil, what do you got on that on the red flags and all?
I concur. I'm on the elementary level, and we see it even then. Kids that have no self regulation when it comes to their emotions, they always have to be coaxed and coddled to do simple things. They go from 0 to 100 at a snap of a finger. They're the kids that are throwing chairs and throwing punches and hitting and kicking, and they have no type of regulation at all. They have no self control. To me, it is on the parents to recognize those red flags in their child when they're at home with their child before they send them to school. And they need to get their children help. The state has options to get your kid help. So don't just send your kids to school thinking the teachers will deal with it, or that we're being mean when we tell you your kid needs help. And a lot of parents are in denial. They don't want to think that their kid's not
Yeah.
normal. I'm sorry, but when your kid gets angry, physically angry because they can't be first in line, I mean, like throwing punches and pushing people, kicking people, hitting people, something is wrong.
Yeah.
You need to get your kid counseling. At the very least, get them counseling and teach them coping mechanisms. A lot of the students have no type of coping mechanisms. And there was somebody that wrote on the TikTok, parents, it is not the teacher's job to teach your kid respect. That's your job.
Yeah.
Your kid should already come to school with respect of others. Respect the environment. Just don't throw your stuff everywhere. Don't break stuff because it's not yours.
Mm-hmm.
It's some things the parents have to be responsible for. And a lot of times they think, oh, they'll learn it later, or they're little, they don't really know. And it's
Mm-mm.
like, when are they supposed to learn?
Yeah.
Because by the time they are 5 and 6 years old, they know the right from wrong. I'm not expecting an infant to know right from wrong.
Right.
I'm not expecting a toddler to know right from wrong. I do expect a 5-year-old to know right from wrong.
Exactly.
They know that it's wrong to hit someone else, but because they're angry, they feel justified. Well, you need to teach your kid coping mechanisms for when they get angry. You need to teach them breathing techniques. You need to teach them, let me step a step back and separate myself. Because
Mhm.
at 5 and 6 years old, we see it. We see the kids. They rip the stuff off the walls. Pre-K, 4-year-olds,
Yeah.
we've had that,
Yeah.
where they had no self-regulation whatsoever. And it was hard dealing with them. They would run around the entire school, ripping stuff off the wall, hitting others, spitting on, kicking, biting, hurting others. And
Mhm.
it was a normal walk in the park for them. They had no self-regulation at all.
And
So I think parents need to take a really good look at themselves, look at their children, and see, does my child need help? At the very least, get them counseling and learn how to do coping mechanisms, because it's not fair that other children come to school and are abused
right.
simply because your kid got mad.
Yeah. Most definitely. Let's see. Miss Brandy, come on with it. We heard you a while back, but you can hear us, but you can hear me talking, right? Yeah. So I don't know. I'm sorry, but, but we can't get you in. So, but so thank you. Appreciate you though. So Phil, let me say this, and Gina might can relate to it too. I mean, but you got this kid that's 5 or 6 years old, so he's potentially probably one of the ones that's going to grow up. Maybe not if he don't get any help. That could be one of these ones that can carry out one of these mass shootings, probably.
If they don't get
Agree.
help, if they don't get help, yes, it is. They have a higher possibility of that because they have no self regulation of their emotion. They
Right.
honestly need to learn coping mechanisms when it comes to not feeling like themselves. If they are always angry, if they are always feeling violent, they have to have those coping mechanisms, because if they don't, then they're the ones that will go and just fight anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we see it all the time. I mean, people make money off of YouTube by just showing videos of people losing their temper.
Mm.
Yeah.
These are full grown adults. They have no emotional self regulation. They have a sense of entitlement. They have a false sense of empowerment, and they grow up to be dangerous people.
Right.
And because the children are minors, that, you know, depending on the offense, sometimes they can get a second chance at life by not being charged as an adult. But many times these children are charged as adults because they did adult things.
Right.
If a 13-year-old takes an military
M4.
based weapon, M4, yeah, if they take a military based weapon into a school and shoot up their classmates, because you're 13, you don't think they're going to charge you as an adult? Oh, absolutely they will. Because you
Right.
did an adult thing. You took lives with a machine gun.
Right.
So,
Okay.
like the other young lady, I'm sorry, will you tell me your name again?
It's Gina.
As Miss Gina said before, there are red flags. There is a buildup. They just don't go from taking the gun and going to school. There is a buildup. They thought about it. They wrote it down. They told somebody. There were red flags about their mental health. There was a time when someone could have stopped them. Someone could have helped
Right.
them.
All right, Miss Gina, what you got on something?
Okay, so basically, I'm sorry. Let's revisit the question again because I'm listening to her and I'm just like, wait, what was the question? Because I think I got caught in between questions.
I believe. Let me go back up to it. I think I asked the one about the what signs or red flags should teacher and parents look out for or indication. I think that may have been the one that I asked
Okay.
about the red flags.
Okay, so um I think you may have asked something after that. You asked something. I think you tallied
Yeah,
something onto that.
I have to see because I was strolling up and then we got to going. So
I
no, let me
apologize.
see.
It's been a
Yeah,
long
I
week.
heard that. That made. I don't think I asked. Do any of our schools? No, I didn't ask that one either. I may have just added something off into that because I don't have it in my notes about the after the red flags. But
Okay.
you can go ahead and just talk on whichever one, whatever comes to mind. Then I'll ask another question here if that's want me to do that.
Okay, I was just gonna say that basically, again, I have a background in juvenile corrections, which means I worked with individuals that were way younger when they initially started doing criminal activity. And I worked with individuals who were actually locked up for murder. And I'm talking about 14, 15-year olds. Didn't necessarily happen at a school situation, but they had some bodies on them, and I literally worked with these. It was all male facility I worked at, and it was again individuals who were into this life since they were like
Right.
little. So it's I agree with Phil as far as like definitely catching things at an earlier age, because what happens is if you don't catch it, I think that's what you were asking about the potential of them becoming someone if they're younger with the violence in them already, the aggression and stuff. What's the potential of them growing up into becoming an older person who
Oh,
will
I
actually
did
go
say
do
something like
something
that.
major?
Yes, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, I mean, that's where it stems from. Is again, it's not something that happens overnight. It's a build up. It is something that I believe is not necessarily learned behavior, but there's something that I know a parent or a sibling or a teachers or whomever is around a certain child and they can see certain things
Yeah.
in a kid. Like, I've been around kids who they have a hankering for killing animals or just something like that. That's a telltale sign that okay, something is not quite right here. And yes, you do actually have to decide at an early age sometimes, unfortunately, that my kid maybe does need some therapy. We need to talk about this. Don't just brush it under a rug, because it eventually will build up to something more major. And when they get to middle school, high school level, now you're dealing with an even bigger problem, because now it's so much going on in today's world where now, because this kid is already aggressive as is, and you've been knowing this as a parent since that kid was like 3-4 years old, and you did nothing about it, or you didn't do enough about it, or whatever. And now they're in high school, and let's just say they do get picked on a lot, or whatever the case is, or they just genuinely just don't like somebody else, and then they just pop up at the school with a plan. Like Phil said, they didn't plan this out. This is not a sporadic thing that we're seeing happen.
And so let me say this. So if both y'all are in the teacher field, the education field, so you notice this, you see the red flags, you see what's going on. Is that something that's documented that or you may pass on to the superintendent, the teacher? Not the teacher, the counselor. But if you're seeing it, I know good and well the parents have to be seeing it. So
Definitely.
What is the next step after that? You see this kid acting up in school field at 5 years old or whatever and stuff like that. Principal get notified, parent get notified, or something like that.
Absolutely. We do let the parents know that the kid is having a problem. And then we do let the counselor know. We let the AP are working with a new way of tracking behavior at our school, where each kid is given like a sheet where we document any problems that the kid has, and then that way we can refer it up if a different placement is required, that we actually have documentation that there is a history of a certain behaviors, and that student can no longer be in the general population of a public school. They have to go to a specialized school where they help the kids with the behavior. So like an alternative school, one that is made for students that struggle with their emotions, and they have no regulation, and there is no there's no way to cope with it at school, the regular school. So we have to have that documentation. It does take a while to get that. Um, it takes like months, maybe even half a year before the student can get a different placement. But we have to be sure that we're not rushing to judgment. We want to give the kid an opportunity to change their behavior. We coach them, we counsel them, we, try to build them up. We try to do all kinds of different incentive programs to help their behavior move toward a more positive area. But every kid reacts to that stimuli in a different way. And so some kids just have a chemical mental imbalance to where the normal incentives program does not work. They truly are, it's either fight or flight with them. And sometimes that's beyond what the teachers and the school counselor can give. They actually need to go to a specialized campus where those instructors can help teach that kid better coping mechanisms than what we can. So to answer your question, absolutely, the parents are notified. Absolutely, we get resources from the counselor, from the district, on how to handle this kiddo. Yes, we absolutely do document everything that we can to make sure that the kid gets what they need. The first and foremost is always, how can we better help this student? It's not about a power struggle. It's not about, I don't want to teach this kid. It's not that. And I know certain powers that be want to make it seem like teachers no longer care about kids. That's absolutely not true. Absolutely not true.
Right.
So.
All right, Gina, yours are already, everything's already been documented. Well, let me just let you answer. Is there, because your kid, you're dealing with at-risk kids already, right?
That is correct. So most of the students that I currently work with, or have been working with for the last few years, actually, are already on paper is specified what issues they have, whether it's mental health issues, behavioral issues, if they have criminal activity, on their records or what have you. All of that stuff is documented. So I do have, I guess, a bit of an advantage in a sense of I work in a specialized setting, so we already have that level of therapy in place. So on the educational side, it is up to us as the teachers in that setting to, if we notice something, hear something, or learn of something, to obviously report that to the facility that we're working for, and then they go about it their way. So everything is documented for sure. Like we have, matter of fact, I spend a majority of the day in group chats. We have these two different platforms that we use, one for the district that I work for, and then one for the actual facility that I work at. And so all day we're literally communicating with each other as the adults, as the professionals in the situation, of just anything and everything that comes up. Because again, we're working in an atmosphere where you basically expect, and I don't want to say chaos, but it's just what it is. Anything can pop off at any given time. So it's just kind of like everything is definitely documented. Parents are notified and alerted as to what's going on. And if they have to be sent to a different level of care, then so be it. But in a regular school, traditional school setting, it is a lot more difficult because the teachers are the eyes and ears, basically. You don't have necessarily a staff member for the facility there. Obviously, you're it, and so you have to be mindful and pay close attention to what's going on at all times. And that can be very difficult to do when you have so many students in one room together, or, you have certain issues going on. So it's a challenging thing. I did work at a different district when I initially moved out here to Texas, where I did not have another staff member in the room. It was just me. I was facilitator of the classroom. And at that time, I still was working with at-risk youth. They just weren't in a specialized setting. It was an alternative school in the sense of alternative learning, but credit recovery school, what have you. But again, it was kids who were coming from different neighborhoods and different gangs, and the rivalries were there and all that kind of stuff. So we literally had to not only be a teacher, but we also had to be policemen. Like, and it's crazy how things are set up now. 2025 is off the chain as far as what a school setting looks like versus just 10 years ago.
I'm sure. So I know we kind of making sure we run this to about an hour. So I got another question that I'm gonna ask and kind of keep it rolling on here. So I know back when I was in school, which was a couple of years ago, we used to practice tornado drills, get in the hallway, cover your head up and stuff like that or whatever. So my question to you ladies right here is, or to you teachers and ladies here, do any of your schools run safety drills? If so, how do you think they impact the student emotionally, and are they more helpful or harmful? And what I mean by that, we have to practice for this mass shooting if this is going on. So this is what we want you to do, so it's all in the news. So do you think that's something helpful, harmful, or do y'all even practice any type of, if there's some type of shooting going on?
Well, most schools are mandated now to actually do those type of drills. And so I know in my school district in particular, we have a set of different drills that we have to do, and it has to be specifically done at this date, this time, X, Y, Z. When it comes to those type of drills, though, we actually have to notify the parents. We have to send a letter home to the parents to let them know, hey, this is what's going on this date, just in case, the kid is taken back by it or have some type of a reaction to it or whatever. But what we normally do is the verbiage that it entails. We kind of try to do our best to do it in a professional manner of, this is not a panic mode situation. This is, if something unfortunately were to happen with us, this is what we would have to do. And so we verbalize that to them and we walk them through each step of the drill as we're doing the drill itself. But it's imperative that it happens, because again, you don't want to be that person that, okay, I'm a teacher and I don't even know what to do in a situation such as this because of XYZ. We never went through the drills, or we never, practiced what's supposed to happen. And so, yes, some kids are triggered by it. I've had kids in the past who genuinely stated to me, I can't, this is impacting me in a certain manner. So, obviously I'll have that kid kind of, just either take them from the room or, just kind of still give them the breakdown on what the drill should look like. But if it's something where the kid is actually having a panic attack, I actually had a kid have a panic attack during one of our drills once before. And I was just, okay, yeah, see, this is not going to work for me as far as I can't have this kid in here. But the reality of it is, if something were to really happen, that same child would still be having a panic attack. It's just that something would actually be happening. So in a situation like that, there's nothing you can do to prevent that. But yeah, it happens. And most, like I said, the majority of the school districts I'm familiar with is mandated that we actually have those types of drills.
All right, Phil.
The same. Elementary school, we always prep them, front load the kids, letting them know, hey, this is just for practice. We talk about it a lot. Hey, this is just for practice, just in case. And, and I tell them nothing's going to happen. You're fine. You're going to be all right. It's just for practice. Does the district let the parents know that we have those drills? Yes. So it's the same. It is mandated. We have to practice. We have to take training on it. And we just let the kids know, hey, in the event of an emergency, we'll all get away from the doors and windows. We'll be quiet. And we have to be silent, because if someone's trying to get us, do we want to be making noise? No, we don't. So we have to be very quiet. And we turn off the lights, we cover the windows, and we just sit quietly until the drill passes. And then it's over. And then the kids, we go along like normal. Do we have kids that get upset? One or two, sure. But it's to be expected. We handle it. We just talk them through it. They'll be fine.
Yeah. Right.
They have to go through it every year.
Right. Okay. Let me ask you. I think that if it was at a school where that kid actually went through that, that'll probably be one of the ones that'll probably really be traumatized by it. I mean, I don't know, but I'm just saying, if that kid was there at one of the other schools when it was a mass shooting, got to see the other kid, some of their friends laying there dead, and then here you are running a drill or something like that. They probably, I mean, I don't know. It
Yeah.
might be seem like it may be something, but
It would. I would not doubt that it would be some PTSD involved
yeah,
in that.
yeah,
And that it's unfortunate, but like I said in the first segment part, Congress it's up to Congress. They
right,
have got to change the laws about who has access to military weapons. I think military people should have military access to military
yeah,
weapons.
yeah,
If you are a vet, you should be able to take a test saying I can handle this weapon, then you get to have the military grade weapon. It should not be open to regular people. Just like
mhm,
I can't get behind the wheel of an 18-wheeler and just drive around because I
right,
feel like it. A regular person should not have access to
yeah,
military grade weapons without specialized training.
right. Need to change the laws in that. So let me ask y'all this: with all of the clear backpacks, the metal detectors in school, the resource officer, security guard there at the schools or whatever and stuff like that. I mean, do you think that's going to stop it?
A comedian said this, and I agree with it. The schools that have all of what you just named are not those schools that have the shootings.
Hmm. Okay.
Because if the school had a metal detector, can they get in with the military grade weapon? No, they
Okay.
can't. So
G-
the schools where all of those things are, that's not where the shootings are.
right. Okay. Gina, what you got on that?
Um. Well, so basically, I look at it from a standpoint of if you have all those things in place, the likelihood is going to be less. Obviously, the capacity for anything violently happening in a school setting such as that has all those things in place. And if there's actually being done correctly, that's the other question. Is it being carried out and executed correctly? Because you do have some schools that they do have the metal detectors, and they do have the kids wearing the clear backpacks. But I know just from working with uh,
Right.
criminals, and I hate to say that word, but that's just what it is. That if I have a criminal mind, I'm going to slither my way through whatever the situation is, right? But so I do think that having a resource officer and having the backpacks be clear and the metal detectors and all that stuff, of course, that's obviously resources that will help prevent anything from happening. But like Phil said, the likelihood that something's going to happen at a school that does not have those things, well, kids are going to peep the scene. They're going to figure out, hey, I don't have to go through a metal detector, or hey, even if there is a metal
Yeah.
detector, there's a way around it. I can go and hide this gun somewhere else on the premises, and then however they get it
Yeah.
into the school building or whatever, then if they're adamant about doing something, they're going to get it done, regardless of what's in place. Unfortunately,
Mm,
it's just the unfortunate facts that
gotcha.
we're dealing with right now. So, but yeah, like Phil said, though, most likely those schools that we see these things happening at, those are schools that are kind of minimal on their security measures. So yeah, the schools that you would think would have to be more
Mhm.
mindful about that kind of stuff, it's most likely not happening
Right.
there.
Okay.
So
Now I'm gonna ask this, and I kind of know where it's going with Phil a little bit because of that. But let me just go and read my question. Do you feel that the school system and state and the government is doing enough to protect kids from school shootings? And I'm gonna start with Phil on this because I feel when you were talking about the Constitution and the laws and stuff like that. So do you feel that the school system, the state, and the government is doing enough to protect kids?
They're putting a band-aid on it. It's not, it is not the school's job to protect the school from outside forces. It
Hmm.
is the government's job to protect the schools from outside forces. But when you allow everyone to have a weapon of mass destruction, anybody, as long as they're 18 and have a trigger finger, if they can get a gun, they will get a gun, and they will use it however they want to. Paul, they have spent so much money in trying to reinforce the schools, to protect the schools, but they don't reach the root of the whole problem. You can put a chain link fence around the entire school with armed guards around the school. That doesn't stop somebody coming to the school with a military grade weapon. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can have all the equipment and security that you want at the school. That doesn't stop the general population around the school from having access to military grade weapons to use in the school, in the grocery store, at the bank, at the park.
Right.
It's not just school, it's everywhere. So you're just putting a Band-Aid on it by reinforcing the schools. Our district has spent much money, millions of dollars, tens of millions, to reinforce every single school in our district.
And
does it help? Yes. Do we have a resource officer at every single elementary school? Yes. Every district doesn't have money for that. Fortunately for us, we do. Armed guards, like real police officers, they are at the school 24 for the whole day, every day at every elementary school. And then the middle school and high schools, they have a rotating officer that goes around, but they're there all the time. There is a constant presence.
Right.
So do we have reinforced doors? Do we have locks on every doors? Do we teach the kids not to open the door? Do we have vestibules? Do we have, did they add doors to the open concept schools? Yes, they have done all of that. But that's only putting a Band-Aid on the problem.
Right. Goes back to those weapons. Okay. Gina, what you got on that?
So I in piggybacking off of Phil, so I worked in a school situation where, not currently, but prior school situation I was in, we went an entire school year without any type of resource officer. Like, we literally, the teachers, we were the resource officers. So we to be in the halls and monitoring the kids, and if a fight broke out or something major happened, we were the ones literally having to chime in and break up fights and all that kind of stuff or whatever, to the point where we had some of my colleagues actually getting physically hurt or whatever. And so I can only imagine across the country how many schools are in that same scenario where you don't have the funding for such things. When I first started working at that particular school, we had Fort Worth PD. Actually, we have 2 officers there, and then the funding got cut for it, and then next thing you know, they went down to just regular security, or what have you, and then we ended up, like I said, that whole year without anyone there. And I just kept going to my principal at that time, and I'm like, "Hey, what happens if this happens? What are we going to do? We're not armed. We're not." Some of us weren't trained. I mean, I'm trained because I come from corrections, so I know what to do in certain scenarios. But I was working with older colleagues. Those people didn't have to break up fights probably or whatever before, because they were working in school settings prior to where they had someone there. So it's just an idea of, what do you do when you don't have the resources there for you? And even still, as far as going back to the actual question at hand, honestly, it's just a domino effect. So if there's not enough support from the government, obviously once it trickles down to the actual school situation, the school setting, it's just going to be a sinking ship, basically. So it's not our responsibility, unfortunately, as teachers or educators, to provide all of these things that should be provided for us, because we're also there too. We're in the midst of it, So if someone comes to the school with a gun or whatever the case is, we're at just in as much jeopardy as our students. So it's like, who's protecting us at this point? Like, where is the support actually coming from? So hopefully, prayerfully, something does happen to change things. But here we are in 2025, and we're still, I mean, the numbers you read off, I didn't realize that the statistics were as high, because we don't see everything on the news. Everything's not being reported. Everything's not being given to us, or what have you. So just to hear those numbers is outrageous. It's just kind of like, what is really going on? What's really going on?
Ladies, I have one more question, because I kind of skipped over some of them due to time, because I know 1 or 2 have to be off within an hour. So I'm going to ask you this one question, then we're going to go have some closing comments. So I'm going to ask you this. What are your thoughts on teachers carrying guns? Let's start with Phil.
If you have someone that's willing to do it and the district is willing to provide the training for it, I say go for it, but they have to be responsible for the consequences of actually using the weapon. Because if you're a teacher and you take a life, you have to live with that for the rest of your life. I myself, I'm if my district tomorrow says, hey, we're offering training for teachers to carry weapons on campus all the time, I wouldn't do it because that's not my job. My job is to educate, not to shoot people. We have police officers for that. And so, like I said earlier, fortunately, my campus has an armed police officer that it stays on campus all day. He walks the campuses. He checks the doors 3 times a day. He assists. He even helps walk the kids, the special needs kids, to class. Like, they love him. They absolutely
Yeah.
love him.
Yeah.
And so, that's not my job. I'm not shooting nobody, especially at work. If I become a police officer, then that would be my job. I would feel comfortable having to shoot somebody if that was my job. But my mentality is an educator, not shooting and killing folks. There's people for that, and I'm not those people. So,
Okay. All right, Gina, what do you think? Should teachers carry guns?
Honestly, I personally would not want to. I am not a fan of guns at all. I would personally not want to. I really don't think, as Phil said, this is not a teacher's responsibility, but unfortunately, we are in a society now where we are on edge and on guard at all times because you just don't know. You could be in a grocery store, something can happen, but in particular with schools, like it was stated earlier, well, I have a gathering of people. I know that people are going to be there. So if I want to do something, if it's in my heart to do this, I'm going to go where I know I can get away with it, at least in my mind, as a killer, right? As a shooter, I can get away with it, even though you're not. But we're in a situation where, some teachers, I have some colleagues of mine, not necessarily where I'm at currently, but in past work experiences, who were actually wanting to be able to carry and bring it into the workplace with us. I think that is a little extra dangerous, to be honest. That's just my thoughts, but I know there's quite a few people who would disagree and say that it is necessary. But for me personally, I would say a no,
Right.
a huge no.
All right, that's what's up. So let's get some closing comments. So we can get you ladies on the way. And Gina, since you ended that, we're gonna start with you on the closing comments. Then I'm gonna come to Phil.
Okay, well, I am a very spiritual person, and I do believe that a lot of the stuff that we're seeing, and this is just my take on it, is spiritual.
We didn't lost you.
Gina,
Come back. Oh
no.
man, she right off it.
I know she was getting into it. I was like, yes, spiritual. Let's go.
Oh, Gina, we got you. We
back.
can't hear you. Man, this been a messed up one. So,
Oh no.
well, she might come back in. So, Phil, let's let you go ahead and
I would
start.
like to say that first of all, thank you again for having me on here to get my perspective as a teacher. I think this is the second one that you've done on educators,
Yeah.
and I appreciate it. You see us as people and not just a number. And I love my job. I enjoy going there. Are there hard days? Yes. But I enjoy seeing the kids learn. I enjoy hearing them sing and cheer and be happy to come to school. I love all the little hugs I get.
Right.
And I appreciate that there are some kids that absolutely love coming to school.
Right.
They want to, because the most important thing is for society to understand that school is probably the only safe place many of our students have. The school is the only place where our kids get a hot meal. School is the only place where our kids actually feel safe. When they go home, sometimes they go home to hell. And so a school is supposed to be safe, and we're supposed to provide a loving environment for our kiddos. And I'm proud to say that I'm part of the population that allows that helps the kids feel safe. And so I love my job. I'm glad I'm a teacher. I can't imagine doing anything else. And so I just appreciate you putting us in the spotlight yet again and giving us a voice.
Right. We're gonna come back to Gina here in just a second. Phil, I also appreciate you canceling, leaving your date early to come on Wizzo Talk. I mean, that right there is like crazy, man. I like she left her
Dude, he
date.
brand new. Don't worry. There'll be other days. We ain't even 2 weeks in
I
good
say,
yet.
man, woo woo.
No, I had a date with you and this podcast before I even met him. So
Okay.
it would have been ugly on my spirit to have canceled with you to be with somebody that's brand new. So no, I enjoy speaking with you and seeing you because this is the only time I get to see you.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. All right, Gina, we lost you on
Yes,
spiritual.
sir.
All
My
right, spiritual,
technology.
give us the spirit.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. I don't know what the heck is going on with technology tonight, but I was just stating that just in the spiritual aspect of it, like I said, mental health is a huge component of it. Obviously, very big component of it, but also too, I have seen other things come out of young people over the years, just in different capacities, and so it is scary, to be honest with you, or whatever, to see certain things transpire and happen in a school setting in particular, or what have you. But as Phil was saying, I love what I do. Obviously, this is a gift that we have. This is not something that's easy for anyone. I have friends and family all the time tell me, I just don't know how you do it. My parents are both educators, so it's literally in my blood. I have other family members who are like educators along the way, or what have you, and so it's naturally in my blood, but it's on my heart as well. So for me, showing up to school each day, working with the students that I work with, it is my duty and my honor to protect them as much as I can. And keep them away from harm, whether it be something somebody said or something that somebody's trying to do to them, or whatever the case is. And it's just literally about building those relationships and those connections with the youth, because if they do feel like they can trust you, chances are you can be that person to kind of talk them down if something were to transpire and generate into something bigger or major. So I mean, like I said, I have so many experiences I can think of to where I think I may have prevented a few things from happening, to be honest. Not necessarily a school shooting, but definitely intervening in fights and altercations and stuff like that. Because I mean, at the end of the day, for some of these kids, we're literally all they have. And it's sad to say it like that, but even if they have parents in the picture at home, they're most likely going to probably feel more comfortable talking to us versus their parents about certain things. And I've experienced and encountered that lots of times. So just I ask anybody that's listening to this or chiming in just to continue to pray for us as educators and pray for our students and our kids, because I mean, this thing is getting real about a day. I don't know how to explain it other than, I tell my coworkers all the time, I'm like, this is something. This is something different. Like this thing is shaking up the spot. So we do need parent support. If the parents are aware of stuff that's going on at the home and we're not aware of it, we need to collaborate with parents and family members and stuff like that, just to make sure that we can prevent whatever we can possibly prevent from happening. So
exactly. Right. And I'll say this, I know my grandson, my grandkids, I talk to them all the time. If you hear anybody talking about a gun or this or that or a knife or whatever, make sure you go let some teacher know or some adult know about that, so don't be scared being called a telltale or whatever. You go and let somebody know about that,
Oh, yeah.
And my daughter's, she's a teacher in education, and I tell her, baby, make sure you watch these kids and blah, 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 and stuff like that. And, daddy, I am. So I want to go off into it too much because I know I said I keep this to about an hour. Ladies, I'm going to tell you, I appreciate you guys coming on, as educators. Y'all been on Wizzo Talk before. I appreciate y'all holding it down for me as always, coming through with a lot of good info. And maybe the people out there watching it now, maybe they'll watch it later on or pick up something from that. And I know for a fact, I'm sure they appreciate you teachers, because I'm going to tell you right now, I wouldn't be able to do it. I would not be able to do pre-K, definitely not the high school, because I'll probably be in jail because one of them been to say whatever. But anyway, ladies, thank y'all. I'm sure this is not the last time y'all going to be on Wizzo Talk. Every time y'all always answer the call for me. So I appreciate y'all. And this is your boy, Paul Wizzo, saying holla at your boy. And we'll see y'all the next time. Thank you.